When a power-hungry HOA president and her elite friends took over my ranch for their lavish summer gala, they crossed a line no landowner should ever have to endure. They ignored my legal warnings, set up Bison burger grills right next to my herd's pasture, and even threatened to kick me off my own land. But Storm, my 2,000-pound bull, had the last word that day. What boundaries would you protect when everything you've spent 20 years building is at stake? My name's Henry Caldwell. 20 years ago, I poured my life savings into 15 acres of untouched countryside. Back then, the land was wild and raw. No fences, no neighbors, no politics. Just me, my cattle, and a dream. I worked sunup to sundown, turning that land into a working ranch. Every post, every trough, every gate, built with my own two hands. I wasn't rich, but I was proud and free. That freedom started to slip when the HOA moved in 5 years ago. Whispering Pines Estates, fancy name for a collection of luxury homes that crept up right against my property line. At first it was harmless, just new neighbors who kept to themselves. But then the letters started coming. Noise complaints when my roosters crowed, warnings about the odor of livestock, requests to beautify my fence line so it would be more visually pleasing to passing drivers. I reminded them I wasn't part of their HOA. That didn't seem to matter. Things came to a head last summer. Karen Peterson, the HOA president, sent me an invitation to the Whispering Pines Summer Gala, a celebration of community and progress, it said. Hand-delivered by a young man in a blazer who looked like he'd never seen a cow up close. I tossed it in the bin. 2 weeks later, I came back from the feed store to find white tents going up on the edge of my property. Not near it, on it. They had dragged their luxury party right past my fence and onto my field like they owned the place. There were grills smoking next to my pasture, music blasting, people in silk dresses drinking champagne just feet away from Storm and the rest of my herd. One of them even had the nerve to hang a string of lights on my fence. I stormed over, no pun intended, and demanded they leave. Karen, dressed head to toe in pastel pink, sipped from a glass and said,
"Don't be so dramatic, Henry. It's just one evening."
I told her she was trespassing. She smiled.
Technically, this area is a gray zone. The property lines aren't well defined. We're more than happy to discuss it with the HOA legal team.
I'd already had my lawyer draw up a clear boundary map years ago, and I had posted signs every 100 feet. They knew perfectly well where my land started. Then she said the words that lit the fuse.
"If you're not going to be cooperative, we may need to escalate this. You're only making things harder for yourself."
That's when Storm noticed the commotion. He doesn't like strangers, especially drunk, loud ones. He trotted toward the fence at first, curious. A group of partygoers laughed and pointed at him. Someone tossed a plastic cup near his hooves. Then Storm charged. 2,000 pounds of muscle and horns barreled toward the fence. The crowd scattered, screaming, glasses flying. Karen dove behind a catering table. Storm didn't break the fence. He stopped just short. But the message was clear. Within minutes, the grills were shut down, tents were being yanked from the ground, and guests were stumbling back to their Teslas. Karen never apologized, but she hasn't set foot near my pasture since. You see, you can send all the letters you want, throw your parties, pretend you own the world. But out here, land is earned, and it remembers who it belongs to.